Hi all. Jean here. I just light my sage and it's smelling very nice. But it's almost going out now, so I cannot share it with you guys. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. With your subscription, it's going to help me a lot because this channel, as I mentioned a couple times before, has to do with retirement. It's my retirement plan. Yeah, just something nice and fun to do so that I can share it to you guys, my life, the things that I have lived through, and I know that you are there and you're excited to hear all about it. So this morning I got up and I decided to kind of linger in bed for a while I listened to a podcast with Mel Robbins. So she had this podcaster on speaking about money. And the one thing I got from that was treat your savings the same way you're going to treat your bills. So take care of your savings the way you want to take care of your bills. And I thought, wow, that is amazing because lately, actually, I have been doing that. I've been saving my money first. It's like I am paying my bill and that bill is being paid to me. So I'm actually saving my money first. And I want you to do the same. So I'm giving you this information. Save your money the same way you are paying your bills, right? So you know how important it is for you to pay your bills. I have actually a good friend of mine's who usually always going to pay his bills every time, almost as soon as the bill come in the month, he's like, I'm going to pay my bills. And I'm always encouraging him to actually treat his savings account the same way he's going to pay his bills. You're going to pay your bills, put some money in your saving account first. So for me, if that is $1 that you have and 50 cents is for your bills, you want to make sure you put 25 cents first into your saving account. Then you spend the $50, 50 cents and pay your bills. And then the next 25 cents you have, you try to spread it around your food, your guilt-free spending, whatever that look like. And I break it down to $1 because, that is so much easier for me to explain than for me to explain anything else. So today was one of those days. Actually, I think I've listened to two money podcasts for the day. And and the other thing I learned from listening to the money podcast is that everyone at some point has debt. Even all the rich people you see out there, at some point, everyone has debt. And it is important to figure out how to pay your debt as well. Instead of pretending it's not there or pretending that the bill didn't come in, because I've also learned that when your bill come in and the bill is piling up and piling up and piling up, it is like, it's almost like a tiger. You're afraid of the tiger, but the more that you ignore it, the next thing you know, you open your door and the tiger is right there waiting for you. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? So pay your bills, figure out how to pay off your debt. And that means that sometimes you have to consolidate with the bank. You have to do what you need to do to get that done. Now, that's not my topic for today. I just thought I would share that with you because that's what happens to me when I got up this morning. I had to, it was nice listening to a podcast about um, on money because it always helped me. It's one of the things that I'm healing as well. So how do you heal your relationship with money? And the way you do that, yeah, you pay yourself and then you pay your bills. But paying yourself is like a bill as well. So if you treat paying yourself as a bill, um, you wouldn't feel as, I don't know, as lost or like you don't know what to do with your money, right? So healing your money issues is a big deal. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, especially if you have had these debts for years, right? It's not an overnight thing. You have to give yourself time. You have to have a bit of a plan, have some kind of a plan, and take it from there. And do not feel as overwhelmed. Everything they have said, everything is energy. And if you can look at money also as energy and the energy that you are putting out towards your money, if you spend all your time thinking that, oh, I don't have enough money is not working for me, money is not good, where am I going to get it from? I'm broke. Those words, you are actually speaking those things into existence. And I can tell you firsthand because I know I have been broke many a times. And I know there were times when I had no money, from whatever, there are times when that happened. I had a big debt that I managed to pay off. And I think that is one of the things that at some point I would want to talk about as well. But today, what I really wanted to share with you guys is this whole idea back to the energy exchange thing, right? So I've been having some experience lately, and I don't know what to label those experience as. So a few weeks ago, I think it was just the second week in January, a friend of mine sent me a photo, and in that photo was another friend of mine, right? And the friend that was in the photo, I have not had a picture with her in it for a long time. Like I haven't seen a picture with her in it at all, to be honest with you. And this friend of mine that sent me the photo of my other friend, um, she was sending me pictures of myself for the last couple months because I think she had some time on her hand and she decided to clean up her own photo album. So she's sending everybody their pictures. And she's been sending me all my pictures and for months. And not once she sent me a photo of anyone else in it, more than myself or with me and her. But on this particular day, she sent me a photo with one of my Black friends in it. And just reminding you, I live in Banff, so I didn't have a lot of Black friends. I had one Black friend, and who used to live with me. She's a really good friend. She had lived with me for 12 years together with me and my ex-husband. She came and worked here in Banff, Alberta. She did come to Banff because of me. And so when I got the photo, I thought, oh, there is my friend, what's her name in here? And the next day, that same friend called me and told me that she has, stage 4 cancer. And I thought to myself, well, that is really weird. I just saw her photo yesterday. And today, she called me to tell me that she have, stage 4 cancer. Now, I haven't spoken to that particular friend since last November when it was my birthday, I think. And I thought, really, this is so weird. But what happened about, it's maybe about a month ago now. So, for about 2 weeks in January, I started listening to hypnotherapy at night. And I was listening to hypnotherapy not only for sleep, but I was listening to the hypnotherapy just from, one of those YouTube channels. I put it on at night and I was listening to it so that I can help heal my gut. 2 weeks into listening to the hypnotherapy, my friend called me and tell me that she is studying hypnotherapy to become a hypnotherapist. And she have free session and she wanted me to come to do some free session. And again, I thought, I have never ever done hypnotherapy in my life. Like really and truly. Maybe one time, like I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. Actually, I don't think I have ever done hypnotherapy. And the fact that I was listening to hypnotherapy at night for about 2 weeks or a week and a half or so. And then my friend called me and invite me to come and get sessions. I am on my fourth session right now with her, and it's going really well, honestly. The other thing that happened to me is I invite a friend over for dinner last night. I'm not kidding you guys. I had invite my friend and I invite her a few days ago and she's like, what should I bring? What should I bring? I said, bring nothing. Just bring yourself because I wanted to just do this dinner for my friend. Yesterday, I'm sitting in the house and I'm like, oh my God, I want to go get some flowers for my friend. I want to get a nice little bouquet of flowers. It would be nice for me to put it onto the table, so that my friend could, my cushion is rolling up. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Just have it in my lower back here. Yeah, that's better. I didn't even see it rolling up to my neck. This is so much better. So my friend is like, so I'm like, oh, I want to go out and get the flowers, but I didn't go out and get the flower. I'm like, maybe I should call her and tell her to bring me some, drop by the supermarket while she's coming and bring me some flowers, so I can put it on the table and we can have a nice dinner. But I didn't do that. I just kind of had the thought and I'm walking around. So you know where I'm going with this? My friend arrived and she arrived with a nice potted plant for me, a beautiful small potted plant. I would show you, but I actually took it to the bedroom because she told me it would be nice in my bedroom. This nice tropical plant. So the leaves are very colorful. And I was like, girl, I spend the whole day thinking about getting flowers and getting something, something nice and alive to put on the table. So we end up putting that nice potted plant on the table. So there, she brought me flowers. Not exactly the flower, but she bought me an entire plant, right? I was like, wow. Oh, there's a lot of, synchronicity happening in my life. So wow, like that is amazing. Like what is happening? Like I cannot ignore it. And I know that it's not a coincidence. And if you want to believe that it's a coincidence, I know it's not a coincidence at all. These things are really just, presenting itself. So today I am on a Zoom call and one of my friend wrote a book. Well, she is part of a book, this book called The High Priestess, and she wrote a chapter for the book. There's about, I don't know, 20 women, and each of them have a chapter in the book. And they were doing a book launch on Zoom today, which was really lovely. I show up for the book launch because I want to support my friend. And while I show up for the book launch, while we're on there, they decide to put us into those private room, those Zoom room and in Zoom. Yeah. So they decide to put a few of us in Zoom room, and I end up in this Zoom room with in the breakout room, right? Zoom breakout room. Yeah. So I end up in this room with two other women, and before we end up in the room, the leader, the person who is running the book launch, she said, "Who is your What was the question again? The question was, who is your high priestess? Who do you connect to? What is the deity or the goddess? Who do you connect to?" And so when we get into the breakout room and, we start having a little chat, and the first thing I said was, I don't know why I'm here, because I totally forget that she said, to who is your goddess, who is your high priestess, who is the person you look up to. So eventually I said, I was the first to speak, and I said, I just love Mary Magdalene. And I'm not sure why she comes up, but this is the first thing that come to my mind. So for me, my high priestess is Mary Magdalene. That's who I connect to. There was a time when I used to call my car Mary Magdalene. And then the second woman say, Mary Magdalene is her person as well. And she hasn't read any of the, and because I asked, did anybody here read the Mary Magdalene books? And she said she didn't read the Mary Magdalene books, but she actually went on a pilgrimage and, do all the areas where Mary Magdalene has lived, and all the, so she walked the walk that Mary Magdalene walked back there somewhere in Europe. And I thought, well, I haven't done that, but the book I read is so good because it's called Mary Magdalene Reveal, and I can't remember by who, but it's just an amazing book and it's just lovely. So if you are a Mary Magdalene fan, I ask that you read that book, right? And then the third woman speak up, and she said that Mary Magdalene also is her person, right? Her deity, her goddess, her high priestess. And I was like, really? Like, what's going on here? Everybody is Mary Magdalene. Then we get out of the breakout room, go back into the main room of Zoom, and the leader, again, that is leading the session in Zoom, she asked the question to all the women. So who did they pick and blah, blah. And about 5 other women in that whole section said Mary Magdalene. And I thought, wow, like, I don't even know if I understand Mary Magdalene and the kind of power that she has within me. But for a few years now, I actually I've actually been, having her as, I don't know, I always refer to her, and I have her there. So what I did is I look up what Mary Magdalene stand for. And it says Mary Magdalene, what she stand for, she was a faithful friend of Jesus. A faithful friend of Jesus. Could you imagine? I just love that. And then they talk about, what she says, and she says, "Do not weep and do not grieve, nor be a doubtful mind, for love will be with you all and will shelter you. Do not weep, do not grieve, nor be of doubtful mind, for love will be with you all and will shelter you." So love would shelter you, love would be with you. And so don't grieve and do not weep. It's okay to weep here and there. I just love Mary Magdalene. And I really understood something today as well about all these things that's been happening. One of the things that came to me first was receiving. When you are open to receiving, like really receiving, these things happen. Like someone sent me a photo, the next day the person in the photo called me to tell me something that is happening to them, like she's not well. And I was looking at the photo and looking at the, anyways, and the hypnotherapy, just starting to, listen to hypnotherapy at night. And then my friend called me and tell me this is what she's doing, and, come and have session. The flowers yesterday that my friend brought, right? And so many things has happened to me throughout, December and stuff that I'm not going to get into now, about receiving gifts, because you may think that these gifts are not monetary. You may think that these things are just, for instance, my friend finally telling me that she's not well, it gave me the opportunity to be there for her, 100%. She's not living in the same city as I am, but the good news is we have phone and we can connect and I can find out how she's doing and I'm willing to go see her, right? The session that my friend is giving me now, which is really helping me with my gut issue, it's really helping me um, navigate, that part of my system, and I'm actually feeling so much better. That is monetary. That is a gift that I cannot buy. It's a gift. It's a monetary gift. My friend bringing me the flowers, that is a gift. And Mary Magdalene showing up. And do you want to know something? Tonight, right here, right now, before I came on to this session, I actually, I actually click on to Instagram. And one of the women I follow, her name is Gillian White. She's like a witchy witch and she does all the things. One of the women I follow, she actually have a whole series of Mary Magdalene. And I just saw her like series number 5, Mary Magdalene. And I was like, wow, like what it is, am I missing or am I not missing? Like, why am I having all these gifts? And again, a friend of mine sent me this wang, right? Like, ooh, this wang. So I am understanding that I am no longer a seeker. I'm not seeking anyone. I'm not seeking, I'm no longer a seeker. You know, I am basically, in a sense, a lifelong healer. I'm in the space of healing. And it is what I have done with myself because the more I heal myself and the more I go through the process of healing, the more I am receiving things, almost straight from the ether. And what you would say is that, oh my God, you have manifest that. And I know this is a big word, but for me, I find lately manifestation and everybody fighting to manifest and everybody wants to manifest money and they haven't cleaned up anything in your life. To manifest the things that you want, you may hear that all the gurus and the gurus and the mystics and all of them, they tell you the same thing. You have to clean up your vibration. Esther Hicks, The Secret, all these people that really talk about manifestation and bringing in what you want into your life. Yes, you can bring these things into your life effortlessly because all these gifts that I have gotten, they have come to me effortlessly. I did nothing, well, more than continue healing, and I pray a lot, and I go to Sweat Lodge, and I pray a lot, and I'm in circle a lot, you know? So to manifest and to really manifest the things that you cannot really just sit around and say, well, you could, because most people do, I'm going to manifest $10,000 and you have never even manifested a dollar, right? And you don't know, you're doing all the things, you're doing the vision board, you're doing all the outside things because you think that's going to get you what you want. No, you have to clean up your vibration. You have to release your negative vibes. You have to clean up the thoughts that run in your mind. And to do that, you have to see yourself and you have to be yourself. And to get to a place of seeing yourself and being yourself, it is a journey. It's not an overnight thing. It is actually a journey. And the first question you need to ask is that, how can I clean up my vibration? What's in my vibration? And most times what's in our vibration is actually all our childhood wounds. We are wounded, right? We are wounded. We have trauma that we don't even know about. We have, heartbreak trauma, money trauma, mother trauma, children trauma, birthing trauma. We have to clean those things up. And people would say, sit and meditate. Well, if your mind and your body is full of these things, sitting to meditate is just going to drive you crazy. I heard a guy said that yesterday. He wrote this book, The Happiness Theory, or something about happiness. And he said the first time he sit in meditation, he got kicked out. He just, he couldn't stay. They kick him out of meditation or something like that. And I thought it was funny because, to when this journey of healing for me, this spiritual journey that I am on, I have started this journey since I would say maybe 30 years ago. I have started this journey a long time, but I didn't even know when I started my journey, I didn't even know that I started my journey. And if you have looked at any of my video, and maybe you haven't, you probably are new here, I talk a lot about reading Marianne Williamson book, A Woman's What. And that book in itself was the catalyst that got me to read more books, what is it, The Abundance, anyway, there is some other books. Well, I've read many, many, many books. If you ever follow Oprah, and Oprah have had her book reading thing for 100 years now, and if you have follow her, um, excuse me, you may have read some of the books that is out there, but I follow her and I've read Marianne Williamson and Wayne Dyer, all those old, the OG of spirituality, Louise Hayes. I talk a lot about Louise Hayes here on my channel as well. And a few new age one like who is a few well, there is Jay Shetty. He's young and new age. um well, Mel Robbins, but Mel Robbins is, yeah, she's more of a motivational, inspirational kind of person. But if you follow her, she talks, a lot of her podcast is on healing money, healing your wounds, healing, let them theory, all these things. Daniel Laporte is one of them that I wanted to bring up. Daniel Laporte, if you ever read The Desire Map and The Fire Starter, also even Elizabeth Gilbert, I mean, her book Eat, Pray, Love is really, it's like the beginning of an unfolding of a spiritual life, a spiritual journey, literally, literally. So there is so many spiritual leaders that I have follow and read, and what I love is that sometimes when you read one spiritual leader, a book from one spiritual leader, you're reading almost all the books that he have read, because they usually put that into their book, which is amazing. I may not be explaining the way someone else may do it, but I have to do it in the way that I see that I can. And yeah, so reading all those books and the Kundalini for the West, I haven't really read the Kundalini for the West, but I have lived the Kundalini for the West. And something I wanted to say, um, with all of this here, the my friend sending me the photo, and then I finding out that same friend in the photo has cancer. Well, one friend sent it, and then with another friend in it, and the hypnotherapy, and then going to get a hypnotherapy session, and the flowers, and having the flowers, and all of that. And what I know for sure is that there's a connection. There's a connection. It brought me to a place where I remember when I was at the ashram, and the ashram is a spiritual place where you can go and heal. You can go and get some healing. And when I was at the ashram, I had this experience, like a real experience, where I was, wanting to know who I am, who I am, who I am. And the question that what I got answered was, that's what I wanted to know. I didn't know what to do. What do I want to do? And I find out that I wanted to know who I am. And that was a secondary journey on top of the, my spiritual journey. But I would say clearly my true spiritual journey began the day that I entered the ashram and did the yoga development program. And I remember one morning we were doing yoga, and at the ashram they do hatha yoga, and we were doing hatha yoga, which is a form of kundalini, and their yoga is hidden language. It's the most beautiful yoga that you can do, hidden language yoga. And as we were doing, I was balancing, I was doing a tree pose, and I was standing in tree pose. And the question I had for myself was, well, who am I? And in this tree pose. And all of a sudden, the entire floor, I was standing on hardwood floor, beautiful hardwood floor. And the vision that I had is that the entire floor opened up, and the bottom of my feet, which was planted onto the floor, was connected to a root, the tree root, a root of a tree. And that root run underneath the flooring board and run underneath because we were right where the ashram is, there's an entire lake. And the root run out, under the lake, and it spread out into the world. And in that moment, I knew that I was connected to the root, the earth. And believe it or not, I have never really quite shared that with anyone because, yeah, you know, uh, but that was a huge spiritual experience for me, understanding that I am connected to the earth, literally. I am a root of this earth, literally. And maybe I cannot see it with my eyes, but I saw it in the vision of me standing, balancing my tree pose. And I saw my root running underneath the earth and around the world. And today on my walk, I was walking through some trees out here, out into the forest area. And as I walked through the forest, I was looking, I was paying a lot of attention to the ground, to the earth, because there is so much um, there's areas that have pockets of ice. And as I walked through, and all these trees are lined up on both sides, and I was just watching how in intricate or however, how intertwined all the roots and the ground was. There is so many roots, and all the tree roots is just connected. You don't know what the root belonged to what tree. They all connected. And if we are nature, and if we are part of nature. We are nature. So if you go out into nature and you look at that, you would see that you too is that, right? So I would leave you with some questions today. How are you healing? What is your spiritual practice? How do you receive? And what exactly it is do you want to manifest that is not coming into your life? What do you want to manifest that is not coming into your life? And how can you release and remove all those trauma from your system that can help you to bring the things in your life? Because the truth is, life is actually should be effortless. It shouldn't take the amount of effort that it takes. It shouldn't be this hard. It doesn't have to be this hard. And this is a lesson I'm just learning at 63, because I always thought that the only thing I can do was hard things. Now I'm learning that it could be very effortless. The hard things are done. The hard things got me here. So do less and be more. Know that I love you, and I hope you stayed all the way to the end of this video. And if you did, I just love you more, right? Don't forget to subscribe and like my channel, because basically, I think I'm going to just be here every single day for this whole year. and we are going to have some good fun doing it. Anyways, have a good evening. I am not editing, so this is my, my little thing for the day. I'm not editing, so I'm going to come forward and stop my video. So don't go, if you say edit, that's too bad. I'm not editing. Have a good one.